It's time to check your money with your friendly neighborhood advisor. Mike Jennings is a wealth advisor with Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Michael, good to see you as always. And Michael, I know you
George.
are a dad with a forthcoming child. How are things going?
It's going good. We are
A
what are we
dad to
six?
be.
Yeah, that was a very sophisticated way of wording it. But
Right, right,
yes,
right, right,
yeah,
right.
yeah. So we're 16 weeks in to the pregnancy, and August has been hot. So it's been it's been a little troublesome. We've been staying as much as we can inside in the AC. I tell you that.
I love that you said that we are 16 weeks into pregnancy. You have just been given many brownie points from our female listeners, and hopefully the brothers too, because you said we. Okay,
You know
we.
what? Honestly, that might have been a mistake.
Now, see, you should have took your brownie points, bruh.
Now I think about it, man, I might have to come give myself some bail for later when she
you,
hears
you
this.
said we, but just go with it, and then make sure you
Listen, we're partnership. We tight. We in this together. That's what I meant. That's
just
what I
make
meant, baby.
this
Don't listen.
okay. You clear it up because, but no, I appreciate. But think about it, right? That is what it's supposed to be, right?
Exactly. It
And
is.
so we appreciate that, and I'm sure the sisters appreciate you, and the brothers appreciate you saying that we are in the process.
I hope so. So let me go on ahead before I get myself into some trouble, talk myself into something I can't talk myself out, all right?
I know that's right.
Yeah, so with so much going on, I thought we could come back and we do another quick hits and just do some things where we cover a bunch of things for the people as far as like headlines and things like that. But I thought, it's been a while. We're kind of restarting or restart, but getting into our next phase of our show. So I thought, hey, let's take a step back and let's go over the basics of what I actually do. What Vicky has been teaching me as far as financial planning and what our firm actually does for clients. So what I wanted to do is cover the areas of financial planning that we actually complete for our clients. And every financial professional defines financial planning differently. So over the next couple of weeks, I'll tell you how we define financial planning, and I'm going to cover the basic areas of financial planning so that the listeners out there can get a basic understanding of what are the different areas that we look for when it comes to a client. Everybody is different, but you got these general areas that all the individual issues fall under. So does that sound like a plan, George?
Sounds like a plan to me. Let's go.
All right, well let's start. Um, all right, and just to recap, why financial planning is so important. There are many different areas of finance in general. And that's on the personal level and on just an economic level. But on the personal level, it tends to intertwine a lot. So because of that, there are a very few times when a financial decision that you make or you make as a household, as a partnership, only affects one of those areas singularly. So the idea of financial planning is it's just, it's an overall comprehensive look at your current financial situation and the future of that situation and based on whatever your goals are, right? A plan has to have a direction. So that's where, our clients, where their input matters the most. We have to know where we're helping them steer to as far as their goals. And we're pretty much building a roadmap for the rest of our clients' lives. So guiding you from any, or guiding you through rather, any and all situations that will have an impact on you. Now, George, would you say it would be difficult to reach your goals without a plan?
Well, there's a saying, Michael, that if you don't have a plan, you plan to fail.
Oh, I like that one. I like that.
So
Like,
it would be very difficult to reach your goals without a plan. Yes.
if I was the type, I'd get that tattooed on my forehead just to remind all the clients whenever they come sit down. But you're exactly right. So we can see exactly why planning is important. Now, how do we go about actually helping our clients with it, right? So I said at the beginning that every financial firm or financial professional defines financial planning in their own way. But the processes that most of us use are generally similar. And our firm, we define six main pillars of financial planning. And today we're going to cover the first two. So to start, we have cash flow and debt management, which
Hmm.
truly has to be the first area. And our faithful listeners will know why. They've heard me talk about cash flow and debt management and budgeting and things like that constantly. So cash flow is the basic mechanism of your finances. Money comes in and money goes out. So the balance between the two pretty much decides what you're able to do. If you have more money coming in than going out, you're working with a surplus. You're in good shape, and that you can position that extra money to set yourself up for more success. And you can also maintain a level of comfortability and stability, and knowing that you have extra funds to manage emergencies when they occur. Because, emergencies, you never know when they're going to occur. You just know that you're waiting until the next one. And with the discretionary funds, comes also discretionary fun, right? So traveling, nice restaurants. A lot of our clients, their largest expense item is eating and dining out. But hey, they say if you got it, you got it, you can flaunt it. So a bit more luxury in different areas of your life, if that's what you so choose. The problem is trying to do that when you don't got it. Right. So when your cash flow balance is closer to being equal, you may find yourself living paycheck to paycheck, right? So when it comes to taking care of financial obligations, again, some days you got it and some days you don't. And in this sort of situation, any financial emergency can really set you back significantly. And you may be supplementing your cash flow with debt, things like loans or credit cards. And so 2025 estimates illustrate that between 53 and 65% of Americans today are in this exact situation, are living paycheck to paycheck. That's troublesome, especially with some of the economic strains that we have seen recently that we've covered right here on this show. However, this is also a situation that many people may be able to find that they can work themselves out of with just some quick changes, immediate changes, and long-term changes as far as their structured goals. Um, it's better to be in this particular situation than to have certain things occur to where you find yourself in that worst situation. And that would be if your cash flow is in a constant deficit. So what does that mean? You have a certain amount of money coming in, but you have more money going out because you got all these different things to take care of. In this situation, there really isn't much to say other than you need to immediately cut costs where you can, and consider possibilities of where you can earn more money. Working in a deficit, you're taking on water, per se. So it's only a matter of time until you really start sinking. Not making enough money for your level of spending also means that you're more than likely building debt as well because you're going beyond extending the cash that you don't have. You're trying to make do with money that you don't have, and now it won't be long until certain legal drastic measures may be necessary. So some things that you can do now as far as cash flow debt management. One, evaluate how much you're spending and what you're spending it on. Consider what new expenses are necessary for you to take on and plan for those accordingly. Think about what you can or ways that you can position yourself to increase your income. Some of you out there have hobbies and or things that you like to do, and
What
some
they
of you
call those side hustles?
side hustles. But the thing is, you have to actually turn it into a side hustle. You can't just do it sometimes, and you got to be consistent,
Or it has to
especially if
be a
you're gonna
real, like a real, yeah, yeah.
yeah, if you're gonna make it, listen, I've helped a few of my clients this year so far go from uh, being an employee to being self-employed. So again, all it takes is that determination. Um, Talk with your family. Make sure that your household budget and goals are aligned. I've also unfortunately seen that as a lot as well. You know, you have a couple where one person is more focused on working towards their goals, and the spouse is just
It's not.
spending a lot of money, right? So as a household, again, I see we found a theme here about partners and being one. You have to make sure that your goals coalesce with each other.
So I can definitely see why you started there with everyone. But what else do
Mhm.
you have for us?
Yep. So the last one that we'll cover for this week is risk management. Also something that all of our listeners have heard me speak about. Risk exists in all forms. When it comes to finances, your assets are exposed to certain risks that could be mitigated. But in a personal level or a human level, we're fragile, mortal creatures. Though, so there's always a risk that we can experience something physically, mentally, that can limit our ability to earn income and build
Mm,
assets for an extended period
mm.
for the rest of our lives. All right. And then beyond that, there's a chance that the rest of your life comes sooner than you expect. So these risks can become reality for many, many people in their lifetimes, and it does. Especially the last one, which is guaranteed to happen to all of us. Again, we are all living people, which means at some point there comes a time where we're not living people. Uh, but just because these risks exist in varying degrees of certainty, doesn't mean that we can't plan for them. So again, the three main situations that can occur: becoming disabled, and
Hmm.
not being able to work like you did before, experiencing a long-term illness, chronic illness, or some sort of condition that requires extensive around-the-clock care for yourself. And then thirdly, again, your life coming to an end. In all of these cases, there is a possible solution for most people, and most times that comes in the form of insurance. Um, Disability insurance can provide a monthly benefit that replaces a significant amount, a significant portion of your income. Long-term care insurance, that is insurance that can provide you a monthly benefit should you need that around-the-clock care for whatever condition or illness that you have to take care of yourself. And life insurance can provide an amount of tax-free money that can be used to replace income, bolster your beneficiary situations, when you're no longer there, and really just provide in many different ways for the loved ones that you leave behind. And in any case, acquiring insurance while you are still healthy is a way to be responsible and knowing that certain situations are basically unavoidable and providing a way to deal with those situations for yourself and your family. There's nothing worse or nothing harder than having to deal with grief and being in that state of mind when you lose someone, and then compounding that with financial obligations or things that sort of loose ends that never got tied up before that person passed away. So what are some quick tips that you can consider now? For some of you, obtaining insurance while you're younger and healthier is almost always more beneficial in the long run. It also helps being a woman too. Men statistically die sooner and more frequently than women. So in that case, women are also, when you compare them to a male of similar age and health, women typically pay less for insurance. Consider if you're expecting to have to take care of an elderly relative or an adult in your life, right? Would it be feasible to help that person obtain long-term care coverage while providing relief for all parties involved, right? Many adults are finding themselves responsible for taking care of their relatives on both sides, right? So they have what is called a sandwich generation, right? So this is a generation that is responsible for taking care of elderly parents or elderly
And
relatives
raising kids.
and raising kids, right? And right now, the sandwich generation are millennials. Um, Consider if your job requires a certain level of physicality, right? And if so, how different will your financial future look if you were no longer able to work that job? How are you going to make up that income? Finally, there will be a time when you are no longer living. The answer, uh, well, sorry, that is an answer, right, to the question of will you live forever? Is no. So why not provide your loved ones with, a means to continue their ways of living, right? Again, talking about being in that level of grief and things like that. Would you want to see your loved ones have to downsize from their home or have to cut certain expenses or certain things that they like doing because you're no longer there to be able to have your part of your income and your level of support be there for them? Is there a way that you can continue that when you're no longer here? And life insurance, it could possibly be a way to do that.
Right. Those to me might sound like two very important areas of financial planning. So I'm definitely wanting to hear more about the four other areas of financial planning. But for now, let the listeners know where they can get in touch with you.
Yep. You can always reach me at michael.jennings@brackensfsn.com. You can send me a quick note, or you can always give me a call at 315-748-5540. Again, that's 315-748-5540.
Mike Jennings is a wealth advisor with Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. He is your friendly neighborhood advisor.